record. We've got 40 on. Love it so much. And you guys, let me actually mute Renee because you're making some noises. Do you need to be unmuted right now? Oh, it's the song. Oh, I like it. I was like, what's Renee doing? Oh my God, I love it. I love it. Here we go. Do you remember when Herb and Patty would do that at the beginning of all their morning calls? They played like their music and it would like always sounded horrible. I remember I started listening to their calls. I'm like, what is this? I don't know if they do that anymore, but I loved it. So good evening, you guys. We are so fired up for this call. I'm going to officially, did I hit record? Yes, I did. Okay. So we have an agenda. We're going to be tight and stick to it and really just kick off these next 90 days. And like I was saying, I can feel the energy from all of our teams and it is flipping freaking powerful. And what I want to say to all of you guys is keep up the momentum. And here is the sad reality that I don't want us to face, but it's going to be inevitable. And I don't want this to be you. Half of you are going to fizzle. Your energy is going to like deflate. Don't be that dude or girl. Like, don't be the one who's like, oh, I'm so in it. And then wah, wah, wah. You guys all have massively powerful whys. And I want you to remember those whys. And I want you to not like, don't make excuses. Be in the zone because these next 30 days are going to dictate the growth of your business. And you guys, this is the time right now. This is the time to run and not give up on yourself and not be half in, half out, or in all the way. And then within 3 weeks, you're like, oh, I'm tired. Let's just go, you guys. Let's just be super consistent. So, all right, ISOLife plan, you guys, this is our Bible, these next 90 days. And if you haven't, your ISOLife success plan, I know that those attending Celebration, you guys all have this. If you don't, go to isagenixbusiness.com, scroll to the very bottom of the page, print it out, go get it bound at Kinko's or UPS or wherever. This is what this is all you need in this business. Take this seriously, take it wherever you flipping go. On Isagenix Business Facebook page, if you're not on that page, we will add you. Isagenix Business has a Facebook page, Isagenix Business. How many times am I going to say that? Every week, every Monday, 9 a.m. Pacific time, they're going to be doing a kickoff call on that page, just setting the intention of what is happening that week. It is all laid out in this book. Right now, we're in week 1, and week 1 and week 2 is all about connecting. It's all about writing your list of 100 or 200, and it's reaching out to at least 20 people. So guys, if you're not reaching out to people and having conversations, you're not growing. You're not building a business. If you're not hearing no's, you're not growing. I've had so many no's these past couple days, and I freaking love it because I'm like, I'm doing something, and it feels good, you know? And I've had a lot of yeses. I'll meet, and whatever. Have conversations. Reach out to people. So I want everyone's focus this week to be on connecting. So I want everyone, like if you look at page 23 and 24 of your book, write down your people. Write down anyone that you've ever thought about reaching out to and you've been too chicken. And do it. At least reach out to 20 people this week and at least 20 people next week. Highlight who you've reached out to. Date when you've reached out. This is the time more than ever to just go. Maybe you've been courting someone, and you guys know what I mean by that, right? Everyone here knows what I mean when you're courting someone. I think Andrea, I know it was Andrea went live on our business page and said something about dating, and like we really kind of are dating when we're prospecting. And sometimes you guys date way too long before you get in the sack. So here's what I'm gonna say. Go for the jugular, guys. Stop trying to court them and bat your eyes so much. You're being annoying. Just freaking ask them if they want to take a look at what you're doing. Compliment them and go for it. Stop waiting for them like, well, they know what I'm doing. I'm just going to keep having coffee and just looking cute. You guys, come on. We got to like just right now more than ever, as we heard in Celebration, grow some cicadas and go for the jugular, okay? So straight from our nose, oh my gosh. So like There's this lady I met in my neighborhood, and I think she's awesome. And I've met her once, and we got each other's numbers. And I'm like, oh, I need to like get to know her a little bit more before I ask her if she's interested. I need to like invite him over. And I'm like, you know what? No, you don't. You can literally just say, I'm going to read you guys what I said to her. Okay, this is not like, and here's the deal. Like Abby O'Neill said in Celebration, which I found so much value out of her speech. Abby O'Neill, let me see what she said. I like what she said. She said, find your own voice through the scripts, okay? In this ISOLife plan, you guys, it has all of the language on how to reach out to people, about the opportunity, about the product, about maybe just a super casual short text. You don't need to send 2 to 3 paragraphs to people. It can be like, dude, you'd rock at this. Do you have a second? I mean, we don't need to overthink this. So I just went straight for it with this girl. I'm like, I don't want to date. I'm not in the mood. I'm freaking fired up, and I'm going to go for the jugular. And guess what I'm going to do? Compliment her. And if you go for the jugular and you give someone an authentic compliment, you can't go wrong. I knew this girl was excited about nutrition. I knew that she just left her job. And I just said, let's see. I said, we went back and forth plenty of times because she told me she didn't do sales, and I had a field day with that. And now we're meeting for coffee because I told her it's not really sales, and I felt the same way, right? We use the feel, felt, found method. I actually felt the same way. But what I found is when you believe in something so much, and especially when you start putting these products in your body, you're really sharing your experience. And you're really sharing other people's experience, whether it's their physical experience or financial experience. So don't just accept no's. I'm not trying to go off on tangents, but always come back. Have a little more pride, like go back to them. Come to your sponsor or someone in your team and be like, oh, they said this, we're done. No way. No way. No just means no right that second. There's always a chance for you to be like, wait, hold on. So I just sent her a text, and it's not even within at all the script they have in here, but it feels like me. And I just said, how have you been? Have your kids started school? Turns out my friend lived whatever. It was like personal about our mutual friend for my hairstylist. This may seem so random, but I remember you saying you have a passion for nutrition. I also remember loving your personality. And please do not worry if this doesn't interest you. I still think you're awesome and love to get together if that's the case. But I wanted to see if you ever had interest in learning more about Isagenix from a business perspective. I have an amazing team in Atlanta and beyond, but I'm really focusing on building more of a local presence in Brookhaven and locking arms with people that have a passion for health, wellness, and helping people and earning extra income. Again, no worries if all of learning more doesn't interest you, but if it does, I'd love to share more over coffee or lunch. I just think you'd be great at what I do, and I loved your personality. That may sound wordy, okay? And like that, doesn't need to be that long. But guys, it's all about complimenting people and just inviting them to learn more. So can you guys get behind going for the jugular this week and next and reaching out to at least 20 people this week? And I know a lot of our team, we put together a list of 100 or more, and we're posting it on our page, and we're just saying ISOLife success plan, or we're saying ISOLife list. And then when you reach out to your 20 people, put it up there again. I reached out to my 20. Our ISOLife list reached out to my 20. I don't care. But guys, let's do it. Let's hold each other accountable here, because things are not going to happen if you don't reach out. Your business will stay like this. You need to celebrate the no's, and you need to go for the no, like you hear Eric Worre said, if you're into Eric Worre, who's an amazing network marketing coach, who's built a freaking killer business. I'm sure every single person has heard of him. So I wanted just to start with that. I'm going to pass it to Renee in just a second. She's going to really talk more about sharing the comp plan, super high level, making sure you guys have the confidence around that. But the next 1 to 2 weeks are all about connecting and following up. This is the time more than ever to be organized. You guys, I am not like an Excel. I don't use the fancy apps. I am very old school. I date when I reached out to people, and I follow the 3x3x3 rule. So I wait 3 days, I follow up. I wait 3 weeks, I follow up. Wait, the 2x2, I got the 3, geez, all these math equations. I follow the 2x2x2 rule. I wait 2 days, then 2 weeks, then 2 months. And I just mark it when I reached out. So follow up with people. This is the time to focus on it. And then week 3 is going to be having presentations, so getting people together, having your ideal life, like your events, and it doesn't need to be formal, and hang out, introduce this to people, have like a sip and sample, have a cleanse and cocktails event, whatever it is, have like a bros and I don't know, I was trying to be really clever, but I was about to say something really vulgar that has nothing to do, I don't even know where I'm going with that, but you know, like do a dude thing. And if you have something creative to say, I don't know, say it, because I can't think right now. But so let's get excited about running. And I love what Emily Bobber said. Just bear with me one second. Let me pull that up here because it's so true. You have to write down measurable goals and define how you will get to them. Even when I was cycling 0 times a week, I always set weekly and daily goals for myself. Your weekly activity needs to back up how you'll reach your goals you set for yourself. And that's why I love this book. And it's literally, you guys, if you take it seriously and you treat this like the business that it is, and you leverage this book, you're gonna freaking kill it. You will. So don't let your dreams fizzle. Don't be the person that's like, I'm so fired up, I'm doing it. And then like you're out to lunch and we're like, oh, I knew it would happen that way. Don't be like prove yourself wrong. You know what I mean? Prove yourself wrong that you're gonna be the one that's freaking there to the end who's gonna hit executive and stay there. Because this is your time where you can catapult your business through taking it seriously. So I'm excited to celebrate rank advancements and hearing the no's that you guys get and hearing the yeses that you guys get and hearing the no's that you turn into yeses and just seeing you guys not give up on yourselves makes me really excited. So I'm going to now pass it on to Renee. And I will say, when I was at Celebration, I don't know who it was, but they said, how would you like to minimize your grocery bills? And I thought that was a really cool way of sharing with people how to get their products paid for. Right? Or do you want to know how to be a part of the Eat for Free Club? So I feel like that might be a good way to tee you up, Renee. You need to unmute yourself. There you go.
All right. So bear with me because I'm still not recuperated from Celebration and my voice is still very hoarse and it's very painful to talk. So it's super sexy. It is. Maybe I have a side gig. Just kidding. First and foremost, I want to make sure that if you don't have an IsaLife success plan, you haven't printed one off, that you've at least Googled IsaLife success plan. It's that simple, guys. It's not brain science. If there's a will, there's a way. If you want this, you're going to do it, okay? And you don't even have to download it. I mean, you don't have to print it off. Just at least have it. Like I have it open right now on my iPad because I cannot find mine somewhere in this wreck of a house. So with that being said, I want you guys to copy and paste what's in the notes right now on the page. You're going to text IsaLife EN to 63987. Okay? I don't care if you ignore me for a matter of 2 minutes that it takes for you to go text that and do it right now. I want all 65 of you to make sure you've done this so that you are getting all of the corporate inspiration, motivation, links that is going to help keep you accountable the next 30, 60, 90 days of this journey, okay? It's like Amanda said, it's very easy to fall back into old patterns, and we want to be here to really help you stay focused in creating new patterns and new things that you're going to be doing, new habits that you're going to carry forward into your business going forward. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, be coachable. Okay, I'm going to ask you guys to be open and to be coachable. And the reason why is because what I'm getting ready to share is the comp plan. We did a survey, not of the entire team, but of a sampling of the team. And it was very surprising to find out that less than 50% of the people who are actively engaged in building and getting on these calls are comfortable and confident drawing out the compensation plan, okay? On page, and I'm just gonna make sure I give you the right numbers, on page 10 is going to be an illustration of what your you share, they share should look like, okay? I'm not gonna go over the comp plan tonight, and I'm actually not going to read off the script to you tonight either because I'm trying to save my voice. But it is written out word for word on page 11 in the IsaLife success plan. That's your script. What I want you to do is I want you to read it over and over again. I want you to draw it while you're reading it. I want you to write it and then come up with it on your own as you're drawing it so it becomes your own. It's a script. It's not the word of God. And that's something that I want to reiterate with everything that you see in your ISOLife success plan and everything and anything you hear one of the leaders or one of your teammates or somebody that's an accountability partner sharing with you. Scripts are great, but you need to take them and make them your own. So like when Amanda says, hey, girly, that is so not me. Okay. So I take what she does and I make it Reneeified, just like you guys are going to put your own spin on it. Same thing with the script for You Share, They Share. I don't do that verbatim, but I do it a way that I feel like I'm most comfortable with it, that's going to resonate with people. But I want to make sure that everybody understands how to make the circles and the lines and show people the money. At a minimum, you need to be able to show people how to make $1,000. Okay? Everybody should, on this call tonight, should be able to do that. If you are not comfortable, you are not confident, or you have no idea what I'm talking about, because we have a lot of new folks on tonight, which I am so grateful that you guys are showing up and that you are participating in this and you are game on, all in, that fires us up like none other. This is your opportunity to just immerse yourself and learn. And the only way you're going to learn is to make mistakes. I've made so many mistakes over the past 6 years. I've shared this comp plan wrong. I've had people enroll spouses on outside legs when they were supposed to be on inside legs. Okay? Don't freak out. As Sadie Pearl tells me, Mom, don't freak out, she says. Okay? It's okay to make mistakes, but that's why we're here, because we've made those mistakes already and we don't want you to make mistakes. So when in doubt, just ask or reach out. Say when in doubt, reach out. So get really ridiculously confident. And when I say confident, I mean go find people that you've never drawn this for. Maybe you've never even talked to them about Isagenix. Say, listen, I need to practice. I need to get better. Can you just hear me out and give me feedback? Okay. And I'm not going to tell you why, but I just encourage you guys to start doing that more and more often. You'll find out more later, the next week or so, but we want you guys to practice. Practice for a spouse, practice for a coworker, practice for a family member, practice for anyone that will listen to you and or give you feedback, and ask them, does this make sense? Listen, you might win someone over. Someone might be like, well, shoot, I want to make an extra $1,000. I know if someone showed me I could help 2 people who help 2 people, I'd be all about it. I'd be like, show me the money. Let's go. I'm going to go find my people. Because that's what happened to me. And that's what happened to a lot of you. That's why you're here. So remember also why you're here. Someone showed you the money at some point. Or you somehow made money and you're like, oh my God, there's money. Money moves mountains. It really does. So page 10 is going to be the illustration of what it's going to look like. Page 11 is going to be the script. Take it, practice it, record yourself. So if you don't have someone to write it for, record yourself and then shoot it over to someone else on the team and say, hey, listen, I'd love for you to give me feedback on my You Share, They Share script. Does it make sense? Do I sound confident? Do you have any questions? There's a space on page 12 and 13 where you can actually practice it and draw it out. It already draws out the lines and circles for you. So all you have to do is put the money in there. All right. At the end of this, my hope and my prayer and my wish is that all of you are confident at a minimum, showing people how they can get to Crystal Manager, which is You Share, They Share. From there, it's gravy. It's easy, right? And also start to get confident with understanding that's a binary compensation plan, that we have 2 legs. One side has to have 600 points. One side has to have 300 points. When those 2 sides hit those numbers, 600 and 300, you cash out. It's 900 points cashes out, and you get 1 cycle, which is $54. So you want to show people, look, orders and reorders, that's the volume. One thing to note is Isagenix has the highest residual in the industry. Okay, we have the highest residual. There are very few companies that pay $54 residual payout. So that's something for you to know. And that's something that people are really impressed by, because the residual is what keeps people around. The front-end bonuses are great. Lots of companies have front-end bonuses. Ours are lucrative. But what's equally as lucrative and compelling and keeps people is that residual income. All right, so don't sell your conversation short or cheat someone out of an opportunity by only showing them the front end. because they could go listen to someone else at another company and they could show them their front end and they could show them to make $5,000 by helping 3 people or something like that. You want to show them that it's not just front end. We have really strong residual. Once you've started perfecting the you share, they share, I want you to start thinking bigger. I want you to start thinking about your map to executive, okay? Your map to executive is going to be on page 14 in your Isolated Success Plan. This is also going to be known as what your board of directors is what I call it. Who are the 10 people that you want sitting around the table with you doing business with you? Who are going to be your 10 forever consultants? Because we're looking at executive and beyond. We want 20 consultants, but you want to know you're always going to have 10 sitting around that table with you. And all of you know 10 people who know 2 people, okay? All of us. No excuses. Now, it sounds simple. We tend to overcomplicate it. We make it more complicated. And when we are sharing with people, it's important to share with them that simplicity. 10 people. That's all it takes. Who know 2 people, okay? So big thing is pages 10 through 14 is going to be the core of tonight, where I just really want to make sure you guys understand the comp plan, understand how to share it, write it, say it, and make sure that you're infusing it in your conversations. Don't be afraid to draw it out for strangers, get their feedback. You might get their attention. They might become your next biggest business builder. And then think about who you want around the table. So you got that list Amanda talked about. That list is awesome. I want you to go through that list and highlight who you want on your board of directors. Who are those people that are going to be running with you? You might think of everyone and anyone. And right, everyone and anyone might be a possibility. Did I ever think Amanda Ham was going to be my first millionaire? Absolutely not. Honestly, I didn't. Because you never know what someone's potential is. But again, you never know what their potential is. So why hold back? Just put it all out there. You have nothing to lose, right? Okay. So I don't know who's going next. I can't remember. I think it's Elizabeth. Elizabeth, are you next? No, Andrea? Okay. So Andrea is going to talk a little bit more about what's going to take place in week 3, because you have to plan and you have to prepare. And it's super important for you guys to get the balls rolling for that now. I know we've talked a lot about events and hosting things, and I will say you guys want to feel for each other's energy. So we all get energy from each other. It's easy to get into a place of overwhelm, but what I want you guys to do is draw energy and enthusiasm and ideas from each other. So don't be afraid to share within your respective team threads and chats about what you're doing, what's working, what's not working, the feedback you're getting, because we want everyone to feel a part of this and not feel like they're on islands by themselves working. And I'll tell you, listen, the past week, I've been in a rut. I've felt like complete garbage. I can't talk. And you guys know me. I freaking love to talk. Being a network marketer, you need your voice. And I'm sitting watching these people all in action. Okay? So don't do what I did. I did it for you. But it inspired the crap out of me to think, oh my gosh, what can I do? I just came off of a season of recruiting. I recruited over 80 people in like 7 months. It was insane. I've been the busiest I've ever been in 6 years in this business. But your business is going to ebb and flow. 1 week you might have enrollments. Another week you want to work on your team, or you want to work on enrollments from last month and get up with them and say, listen, I'm going to come over. You invite some friends over. I'll do the talking. You bring the people, and we're going to help you get your products paid for. So Andrea, I'm teeing it up for you. You're going to talk a little bit about what that looks like, how to do it, some of your success tips that you have. So take it away, sister.
Yeah, I totally thought I was last. So it's all good. If you guys could see the texts that go back and forth between the 4 of us in a day, it's a wonder we're all even physically here. But I am freaking out by all of these faces on the Zoom call. Y'all, it's amazing. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. I know that your energy has been, like Renee said, your energy has been so contagious. And you guys, I don't think you guys realize how much we need your energy. So thank you for, if you were at Celebration, thank you for coming and just bringing your whole self and your open mind. And if you weren't at Celebration, I imagine you are probably have a little bit of FOMO that you missed it, because it was just such an incredible event. And I hope that, seeing our stories and our experiences encourages you to 100% commit to events. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about. I want to talk to you about events. I want to talk to you about having events and going to events. Here's the bottom line. you've got to go to events. Like there is just nothing that replaces going to an event. So ask yourself right now, what is the next event that you're going to? Even if it's a local Super Saturday, like it doesn't matter how big or small the event is, it matters. And you need to get to one. So go to isagenixevents.com, see what's going on. I know that we're going to have a local Super Saturday here in Atlanta. So if you are within driving distance to Atlanta, there's going to be a Super Saturday in November. Like, come. I mean, Amanda and I will house you. Like, come. Okay. I also want to talk to you about having events. So there is nothing that can replace you hosting some sort of your own event. And I can tell you from personal experience that when you start to grow your own local team, everything shifts. Your confidence shifts, the fun you start to have starts to shift, and your growth starts to shift. And it is so much fun to build a local team. So some of you feel really intimidated with the thought or idea of hosting your own event. So I literally just sitting here, jotted down some possible ideas that you could have. And here's my biggest advice, because no doubt, like here in where I am, you know, we have monthly events that we call Shake and Create events. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about those. But it's something that is in alignment with me and my local team here in Smyrna, Georgia, where I live. And it's something that we have found to be super fun, and it works with our energy and our vibe, and it's what we're willing to commit to. So my encouragement to you is that you find a thing that works for you and your personality and your friends, like the people who are going to eventually show up. You know, if you are a working professional and most of your network is working professionals, I wouldn't recommend having an event at 10 in the morning. But if you're a stay-at-home mom and most of your network are also stay-at-home moms, and 10 o'clock in the morning is like the best time to have a play date as well as talk about Isagenix, then I would plan something around that. So, you know, just some really cute things that I've heard thrown around before, and some I kind of just made up. You know, you could do a protein and Prosecco party, right? And it's super cute, and you can have Prosecco, and who doesn't want to show up for Prosecco? And you can also talk about protein. I thought this was a kind of a cute idea. You could have like protein in the park, and you meet you and your girlfriends with your kids at the playground, and you provide some protein for your friends, and you make shakes, and then you also maybe have hydrate popsicles for the kids, right? Like I know here in Georgia, it's still super hot. So like this is something that would be appropriate for this time of year. And have some hydrate popsicles, right? And the kids will love it. And the parents are like, what? Healthy popsicles, right? So it's just a way to introduce different types of products to our network. I know I'm taking the kids to the park and the playground all the time anyway. Why not turn it into an opportunity to share with my friends, right? Another really cool thing that you can do if you're feeling kind of like you don't have anyone local to you, but you would like to start that, is to find maybe somebody in a different company or even a local business that you can partner with. It could be somebody, you know, like I'm going to shout out Amy Bruton right now. Like today she partnered with one of our friends who is a consultant for Pure Haven, and Pure Haven is a non-toxic. They have incredible products. It totally aligns with Isagenix, but they're very different products. They're skincare, cleaning products. And they did a healthy, happy, it's kind of happy hour. It was at 10 in the morning. So, you know, it's Amy Bruton's version of a happy hour, which we love her for. But it was such a cute idea, and people showed up, and she had Bloody Mary, she had coffee, and moms could come over. They could, Wellness Wednesday. Thank you, Amy. That's what it was. They could bring their kids, you know, it was like, it's totally casual, it's drop in. And she partnered with this other friend to offer people who came a variety of things to learn about. So it was like a 2-in-1. So think of somebody, you know, who owns a small business. Maybe it's a boutique you really like, or your hairdresser, or, you know, it can be a variety of things. The local coffee shop, like guys, just get outside of your narrow thinking for a minute and really think outside the box and think about who you could partner with and really encourage them to say, hey, let's do this together. I want to really highlight your business. I want to bring people into your business. It's what we do for our Shake and Creates. We want to expose our community to these amazing local businesses. And at the same time, we're also going to talk about Isagenix. Yeah, like guys, like what about beers and bars? Like what if you guys had like a craft beer sampling and you also had protein bars out? Like it doesn't matter. Like it's just any sort of way to expose people to the variety of things that we have, make it fun, make it social. You know, if you want to stand up and do a full presentation, that's up to you. But personally, what I find is I'm a very social person. I want to get to know people. I want my network to feel like if they're going to come to something that I'm hosting, that they're going to have a good time and they're not going to feel like this super awkward, like they have to buy something. And that's also really easy to duplicate. So that was what I wanted to say about events. Oh, the other thing is Isagenix clearly thinks that hosting events is a very valuable thing. So much so that they have created this isagenixare.com. And I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but if you haven't, you need to know about it. So anytime, and I think this goes through December, I could be wrong on that detail, but from now, so if you host your own personal event, you can go to isagenixare.com. and you can register your event. Now, I'll give you a little tip. If you create your event through Eventbrite, it links with isagenixare.com, and they'll sync up, and isagenixare.com will immediately recognize your Eventbrite, and it'll say, is this the event you're talking about? And you say, yep. And there's a little survey that you have to fill out, but you just register your event. It submits to Isagenix. They send you immediately. They'll send you a $50 product coupon. The idea is that you use that $50 to buy products for your event. That's the idea, right? And then they will also send you 5 free enrollment coupons. All right. There's a little survey you have to fill out, and then they immediately send you 5 free enrollment coupons. Screenshot those enrollment coupons. They don't go to your email. And as soon as that screen is gone, the coupons are gone. So that's my little tip to you. As soon as you see those 5 enrollment coupons, screenshot it so you save it in your phone. And the idea, again, is that you're able to use those enrollment coupons when you have your event or afterwards when you follow up. So clearly Isagenix thinks that this is valuable enough that they are offering this to us. And it's such a great perk. And the deal, and another deal is like, so I went to Amy's event today, so I can create an event off of Amy's event, and then Amy gets an additional perk because I went to her event. So there's like all these, like, they're just really trying to encourage us. Because here's the truth, guys, our community is what makes us last. Okay. People will come in for products, but if they don't feel like they're a part of a community, they're most likely not going to stay around. Think about how many of you are here because of community. So when you can create that fun, loving, genuine, trust building space, people are going to keep coming back, and they're going to bring their friends with them. And that's what this is all about. And it's a trickle effect. So in the next 90 days, I strongly encourage you to plan at least 3 events. All right. 1 in each 30 days. And you're going to be blown away by how good it feels to just plan it. And guys, if nobody shows up, nobody shows up. You just do another one. People get busy. It's not personal. Trust me. Okay. So continue to do it. Stay consistent. Find what works for you and have fun doing it. That's my biggest advice. The only other thing that I'm going to talk to you guys about before we get to Elizabeth is something that's actually really, really important. And there's not a lot that I have to say on it, but it can be the thing that makes or breaks your business. And that is follow up. All right. Nobody's going to enroll on their first touch with you. All right. It's maybe 1 in 100 will enroll with you on your first touch. So if you are not following up with people, you are not going to have a business. And you need to find the method that works best for you. There are people who I am enrolling right now in my business who I've been talking to for 5 years. They have to know that you are still here and you need to find a system. So the system and I have tried multiple systems over the years. Mostly I've done notebooks throughout my life, and then I lose the notebook and then I start a new one and it's been a hot mess. What I have found that works best for me right now is a Google Doc. And I have like categories, they're hot. And sometimes, because I meet people, I'm like always trying to meet new people. And then sometimes I'll look at a name and I'm like, I don't remember who that person is. So I'll even use it and write notes. Like, I met this person at such and such. The last conversation I had with them, they were here. So that when I go back and look at that long list of names, I remember, my memory is jogged as to where I last left off with them. So some people use Asana. I hear that that's fabulous. Not in my wheelhouse, not something I'm interested in learning personally, but I hear it's great. Maybe notebooks is still your thing. Personally, I like Google Doc because you can, it's an app and you can have it on your phone as well. So it's super easy to access. But find what works for you. The other day, I actually went through literally 2 years worth of Instagram DMs. And I found so many conversations with people that I had not replied to them, or and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't reply. So I revived conversations, you guys, from 2 years ago, and it has turned into phone calls and coffee meetings and things happening this week. So I strongly encourage you to go through your old DMs, whether you were talking about Isagenix or not, who cares? Like, they are people. Have conversations with them. And even your old private messages on Facebook, holy moly, if I scroll way back into some old conversations, it brings me back to, and then now what I'll do is I'll take those people and I will put them back in that Google Doc, or I'll add them to my Google Doc if they're not there already, and they're now on my follow-up list. So find what works for you, but you need to figure out something and you need to stick with it and you need to be consistent with it, because these are people who will eventually join you, but it might be 5 years down the road. So figure it out. And I think that was all I had. So Elizabeth, if you're ready, I'm good.
I'm ready. All right, you guys, This has been a lot. So I want to recap really quickly, because if you've noticed, we're kind of going in an order in the way that we share, right? So we've talked about building your list. We've talked about some connecting strategies. We've talked about learning and sharing our comp plan. They share with other people. We've talked about hosting and attending events. We've talked about the follow-up. So I'm going to bring it home. Ready? So the first thing I want to talk about is third-party validation. And the same survey that Renee was talking about, that several people, not everybody on here, was doing and filled out. This was another subject matter that we found so very few people not only don't leverage it, but don't have a belief system high enough for it. And what I really want to say is that third-party validation has the power to change whether someone enrolls or not. It really has that power, or how fast someone says yes to you. There's different parts in the journey where you can leverage this. Obviously, when you are at the prospect stage, whether you are brand new or not, especially when you're brand new and you don't know everything, that's especially when you want the help, right? So it's not as hard to say, hey, can you jump on this call, or can you jump on this text? Whether it's a text or a call, I don't think it matters. It's going to depend on the conversation and who you're talking to. But those are the times where I think a lot of times people are more apt to ask for someone in their upline or sideline or whoever to come on and have that conversation and help. But I really want to encourage you guys who have been around a while and still feel as if maybe you should know it all, or you do know it all. It's not about knowing the knowledge. It is about the validation more than anything. Think about any purchase or any decision you make in your life. If you're hearing it from one person, that's great. But when you have other people come in and say, oh yeah, you know what, that works for me too, or that reminds me of this story. I mean, it just helps with the decision-making process. And so I want to encourage you, if you're not leveraging third-party validation, to make a decision tonight that you're going to do it moving forward. Again, it doesn't always have to be a phone call. I think sometimes people stress out about setting up a call and expectations about what it's going to sound like. If it's done right, it doesn't sound like a sales pitch. And if you've been holding off because you think it's that way, then you need to change that mindset, because the right person on the phone for you, it will not sound like that. It will sound like a genuine conversation. But it could be a text. It could be just whatever the case is. And so there is another process, another point in your journey that you can pull that in. And I'm going to talk about that in just a second, but I want to move into the enrollment stage. Okay. So we've done all of this. They're ready to enroll, which is like, yay, the final, like that's what we want. We want that. And we get excited about that. So just really quickly, some very basic things. There's different ways that you can enroll people. You can enroll people using the IsaLife app. If you're not familiar with how to use it and set up your recommended carts, you have to do that on a desktop, and you have to go in your back office to do it. If you go under the resources tab, there is a tutorial that will teach you how to set up to manage your recommended carts. So if you don't know how to do it, there's a tutorial already for you. And then if you want to use the IsaLife app, you can go in your app at that point when you have your recommended carts, and you can share with your prospect, and they can do all the financial and all that information. Some people like that, some people don't like that. You can always send people to your website, although I don't personally use it, and I don't typically advise people to do it, but it is an option if someone just absolutely wants to do it that way. Just make sure it's set up correctly, and if you don't know how, ask your sponsor. And then there's always the way that a majority of us have always done it is just on the phone, through text, whatever the case is. You just pick what works best for you, and it might vary, from person to person. Okay, so once you have them in and they are enrolled, your job doesn't start. In fact, I truly believe that is really where you shine. This is really where the customer service comes in. And I watch all too often where people enroll and then they're like, next, and then they don't understand why retention is such a problem in their business center. They don't understand why people are quitting or pushing out auto ships. And I truly believe it starts at the enrollment state. So I just want to give you a few little tips on what you can be doing, what you should be doing as you're enrolling people right off the bat. So number one, at the enrollment state, if you haven't already talked about it, you need to explain, either big or small, the opportunity. You need at a minimum to let people know that they can get their products paid for. Now that verbiage might sound different to some of you than others. Some of you might be more bold. Some of you might be, whatever it is for you, find something that works and let people know that they can get these products for free. And then don't be attached, because they might be like, oh, I want to try this for 30 days. That's fine, but you've planted the seed and at least they know. If you try to wait 30 days in, it's a little bit harder and it's a little bit more awkward, because they're going to say, why didn't you tell me in the beginning? So no matter what, at enrollment, if not before, make sure people know that they can at least make half of their investment back, if not profit, right off the bat by sharing it with a couple of people. Number two, introduce them to your upline or somebody who is mentoring and coaching you. This goes back to the third-party validation. Show them that you are a part of a community, that it is not just you, because first of all, that takes the burden off of you. How many of you want to grow a large organization and have every single one of your people only reach out to you? I don't think most of you would. That's a lot of responsibility. And to be honest with you, that's where a lot of people get really overwhelmed and stressed. So why not alleviate that by immediately saying, do it through a text. It does not have to be a call, you guys. It can be simple. It's great if it's a call, but just by a three-way text, just saying, hey, Melissa, I want to go ahead and introduce you to my upline, or my mentor, the person who introduced me to Isagenix, or whoever it is. She's another layer of support for you, and whatever, edify the whole thing. That's another way of third-party validation, and that's what I wanted to talk about. It's also a great way to infuse and start to cast that vision for sharing if you don't feel comfortable doing it. Let someone else, let Renee or Amanda or Andrea do that for you, because it's going to be more natural perhaps to come out of their mouth, so that you don't have to do that if that's uncomfortable for you. The third thing is something that I don't leverage. And twice a year when we have these game plans, I look at this and I'm like, why don't I use this? But it's the new member checklist. And I just want to reference it because it is in the success plan. It's on page 31 and 32. And if you notice, there is one that is strictly for product, and there is one that is for business. And so for those of you who get really lost and you don't know, you try to keep up with everybody in your head or through text, and you can't remember where you found things, why not just send this to them or on the phone, ask these questions, and then you have a record of it. I ask myself why I don't do this all the time, and I don't know why. But if it's not this, find a system that works for you to where you can go back and you can refer to it. Some of us use a goals form or a survey, and that can also serve as this as well. But I would encourage you to look at this and see if this could work for you and your business, to keep up with people. But it also, from a business perspective, not only helps you look like a professional, like you're taking this seriously, but it helps you understand things that maybe you wouldn't think to ask on your own. Hold on, my phone. It's on my phone and it just closed. Okay, plug them into groups and tools. We all have product pages. We all have business pages. Plug them in immediately if they're not already on there at a prospect stage, and introduce them. Make them know that they're part of a community. Show them the tools, whether that's a website or a video or whatever it is that you're leveraging. Make sure that they are plugged in. Don't let them be on an island with only you as support. That's actually the worst thing you can do, and it doesn't duplicate. Establish how you're going to communicate and stay in touch. A lot of people don't think about this, and then they don't understand why they're texting somebody. Have you started your cleanse? How do you feel? What happened when you shared it with that person and they're not responding? And the reason is that we assume that everybody wants to communicate the way that maybe we do. So this is what I do when I talk to people right from the start. I'll say, it is really important. This is a two-way partnership, and communication is the only way that we're going to be able, that this coaching relationship is going to work. So how do you best like to be communicated with? So like if you're trying to call someone and it's like me, like I don't answer the phone. Like unless it's an emergency, I don't talk on the phone very often. I text, and that's my primary method. And so if you're trying to call someone, that might not be their way that they want to communicate with you. Email might not be their way, or maybe that is their way. But at least you know off the bat, they're going to be like, you know what, text is the best for me. And then you're going to say, what time of day is best for you? Because they may work all day long, and then we're trying to text them at 10 in the morning, and then we get frustrated because we're not hearing back from them. They forget about that text by the time it's 10 o'clock at night. So set the expectation, that you need to communicate with them and they need to respond to you at some point during the first 30 days, but then ask them, how do you like to be communicated with? And then you aren't left guessing, and it's not so frustrating. You want to check in, obviously, don't leave them stranded. And then lastly, you want to nurture and you want to serve. You guys, the biggest thing that I watch happen is that we recruit, and we get this far and then we move on, which is okay. You always want to move on to the next person and continue to recruit, but don't forget those people. I'm so grateful that nobody forgot me, because it took me 8 months to want to share. Nobody forgot about me. Every month they made sure they showed me their paycheck and said, look, Elizabeth, look at what you could make. And there was that gentle reminders every single time. And if they had just assumed after the first time I said, I'm not interested in building this business, I don't know that I'd be here right now. So I just want you to understand, don't give up on people if they say no to the sharing the business right away. I can't promise you that they're going to decide one day, 8 months in, that they're going to blow up this business, but they might. And so it's the same way with the follow-up on the prospect. Make sure you follow up and you check in with your current teammates and your customers, and just keep casting that vision, whether it's from you or someone in your upline. And that is all I have. So I think I'm turning it back over to Andrea to close it out.
What's left to close? That was freaking awesome. All right. So, sorry, Elisa's texting me and making me laugh in typical Elisa fashion. And y'all, here's how I'll close. I'm cleansing today. These chocolate peanut butter Isodelites. Game change. I can't stop eating them either, Allie. I think I've had 7 today. I've broken all of the cleansing laws, but I don't care because it's a game changer. So that's my closing. Go to your auto ship and add chocolate peanut butter Isodelites. But no, I think that what the energy that I'm feeling from you guys, like I said, it's contagious. Know that you are radiating at a high frequency right now. Your vibration is good. Roll with that and attract the people who you are supposed to attract. And we are so excited to see your growth over the next 90 days. We can't wait to see who you help. We can't wait to see who you add to these calls. We can't wait to see who you start text with us. Call me your Isa mama. That's fine. Let's do this. I think that makes Elizabeth like Isa great grandma or something. We'll call her that. But I hope you guys have an awesome night. Thank you, Elizabeth and Renee and Amanda, for doing this. And y'all go rock it. I'm waiting to Jen's little girl. Bye. Have an awesome night, guys. Thank you.
Yeah.